What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of Comics and Coffee. Today's coffee is iced caramel coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and for a hot day like it was today, this hits the spot. Today's comic, a really interesting one. Blood Hunt, issue number 1 by Jed MacKay with art by Pepe Larraz. And there's also a red band version, 8 extra pages, more explicit, gory content. For those of you that are adult readers, you might be interested in this book. If not, there's this book right here. Now, I'm not going to show anything inside the red band book because I'm not sure how YouTube is going to handle the gore. However, I will show the artwork in the main book. Art is done by the same artist. It's just 8 extra pages that add to what is going on in the story. It's nothing important that, oh, if I don't read the red band version, I'm missing out on something. No, it just adds extra dialogue and extra pictures and pages to what already is going on here. Not important, not something that you must get the red band version for unless you want to, such as myself. I did want it. So the book, actually, the prequel to this book, I want to make mention of that really quickly, and it's right in the back. You have a nice little checklist. Before this issue starts, the prequel of this book is Vengeance of the Moon Knight, issue number 5. It also mentions that Free Comic Book Day, Blood Hunt / X-Men is another book that takes place before this. I did not read that book yet, so I don't know. I do know that Moon Knight, issue number 5, ends where this book begins. And we find out at the very start of this book that all beings that are connected to the Dark Force dimension and use Dark Force magic get affected somehow. They explode into these big black clouds that end up blocking out the sun and the moon, which allow for these vampires that have been hiding out this entire time, this vampire cult or army or whatever, it allows them to finally attack because there's no longer a sun or moon. And we see Scarlet Witch and Iron Man. We get pictures of people running into Latveria to get protection from Doctor Doom. We see Miles fighting and Thor. So the Avengers and everyone are fighting this army of vampires that have shown up out of nowhere. And then Blade shows up where Miguel is, and he's like, I have a plan, but I need to talk with the Avengers. And he's able to gain communication with the Avengers, and he's like, I need you to teleport me to the Impossible City now. He's driving in this truck. He's like, I have an idea. I need you to meet with me. So the Avengers teleport to the Impossible City, and then they teleport Blade. However, when the truck arrives, Blade is not in it, and we get introduced to who we believe are the antagonists of the Blood Hunt arc. Now, I'm going to try these names. Forgive me if I mess them up. We got Migrim, we've got Cruel and Unusual, we got Damascene, we've got Smoke Eater, and then we've got Bloodstorm 1 leading the group. But he's not the mastermind behind this. So they end up fighting the Avengers. They're there to take out the Avengers because they know the Avengers are going to be the ones that can stop them. And we actually get our first 2 deaths in this issue. And remember, this is a spoiler issue, but we get to see Thor killed first, and then in order to save the Avengers, T'Challa, Black Panther, creates a diversion in order for Captain America and several other Avengers to be teleported away, unfortunately, though, at the cost of his life. And there was also Scarlet Witch, who I believe was also captured. Now, here's my thoughts on these deaths really quickly, and this is again me just hypothesizing. This is only the first issue. This is involving vampires. The chances of these characters being dead is very slim to none. Either they're going to be transformed into vampires and then cured, or somehow, some way they're going to survive, I believe. I don't think that we're going to lose Black Panther and Thor right off the bat. Same thing with what's about to happen. So where did Blade go? Well, enter the sanctum, Doctor Strange's sanctum, and there's Blade talking with Doctor Strange about what's going on and what could be done in the vampire uprise. And that's when Doctor Strange is like, I'm going to find a way to tap in and basically eliminate all vampires. And he's like, you would do that? And he's like, I'm a doctor. To save my patient, I'd cut off a limb, no problem. if it means, you know, saving the patient, and the patient in this case is the world. And this is where I start to question things, because, again, Blade was in the truck, then he wasn't, out of nowhere. It was very telltale from that point on what was going to happen by the last page, but we find out, you know, Blade's talking with Doctor Strange saying, don't you wonder who started all this, who set up all these dark forces, you know, exploding and blacking out the sun? It was me. And that's where the book ends. Now, the only difference, like I said, between this book and the Red Band book is we get a little bit of extra dialogue, a little bit of extra art, you know, things going on around the world, and a few pictures are a bit more explicit than what we see here. Other than that, nothing really different. Pepe Larraz's artwork in this book was amazing. I loved it. I know a few people were saying it's a bit dark. I'm sorry, the sun was actually blacked out, so no surprise it's a bit dark. But I loved it. I thought it fit the book perfectly. I think Jed MacKay did a really excellent job setting this story up. The last page definitely has me interested. I know I heard a few people complaining about Blade. Oh, Blade's turning evil, blah, blah, blah. We don't know yet. This is issue number 1. We don't know what Blade's motives are yet. We don't know if there's mind control involved or if he's going to play a Benedict Arnold to the vampires at some point to find out who the real, you know, all bad evil guy is that we haven't even seen yet. We don't know. We don't know. So for this first issue, I think we're going to rate these a little bit differently. For the regular standard story, I'm going to say this is a 3.5, very close to 4. I really think this was a strong issue, and I highly recommend checking it out. However, it's a first issue, so we don't know where the series is going yet. So to give it a perfect 4, like a perfect 4.0, I don't know if that would be a bit of a stretch. So we're going to say 3.5. And then for the extra 8 pages, which was really just added fluff, the gore, and the more explicit stuff, I'm going to buff this one up to about a 3.8. Close to a 4, but once again, it's the first issue. I do think that I got more out of this. I did enjoy this book more for the extra $1. If I had to choose one version, I would have gone with the Red Band. However, if you're not an adult, then stick with the regular one. But either way, excellent start to this event. Now, there are a bunch of tie-ins. Again, read whatever characters resonate with you, whatever characters you've been reading right along. If it's not a character that you're reading, you don't have to. Again, it'll help add to the story, but I don't think it's going to be something that's required. As long as you stick with the main story, I think you're going to be fine getting through this event. Again, though, hearing myself about 5 years back, I remember complaining about vampires because Twilight was just about being released in the theaters and everything in the comic books were vampires. Vampires, vampires. I remember I think Jubilee actually was turned into a vampire at this time, and I'm like, I am so tired of vampires because that's all we were seeing in comics. Well, it's been over 8 years since then. So I haven't seen vampires in Marvel for a hot minute, so I'm okay with this. I'm definitely interested. I mean, DC has DC versus vampires, but that's a whole other series and a whole other Elseworld to talk about at a different time. Definitely go check out Blood Hunt. I think it was a really, really, really good read, a nice start to the event. Feel free to let me know what you thought about Blood Hunt issue number 1, whether you read the Red Band or the regular version, in the comments below. But with that, that is it for this review. That was Blood Hunt issue number 1. Really enjoyed it. Excellent artwork, really good writing. So with that, as always, everybody, links in the description below for places you can find me and my social media links. Also, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to click that sub button. This way I'm on your subscription feed. And if you'd like to be notified when new videos come up, click the notification bell. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't or didn't agree with me, feel free to give it a thumbs down. More than welcome to do that. Don't do it for the comic. I'm talking about the video. I mean, if you didn't like the comic, feel free to let me know why in the comments below. That's enough. That's all you have to do for that. Till next time, everybody. Take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see all of you really soon in the next video.